What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing PU versus Ubers. PU is a tier which consists of Pokemon that aren't very good, or I'm pretty sure it stands for pretty useless. I put a team of them up here and put them against Ubers. Let's hop right into it. Phalanx comes out, and what Phalanx does, Phalanx uses their special move, No Retreat. They get an Omni boost, but they can't switch. My opponent gets Rocks Up. I get a Zen Headbutt hoping for the flinch, but then he just goes for Giga Impact. I use Close Combat, because I know I can get 2 off, because this guy used Giga Impact. Hit the Zen Headbutt, Hippowdon goes down. I eat the Citrus Berry put on him. I use Zen Headbutt hoping for the flinch, because I know this guy's just gonna like do something like counter. He did. Unfortunately, we didn't get the flinch. Galvantula comes out to set up Sticky Web. Earthquake takes him down pretty low. Thunder does 29. Earthquake takes out Galvantula. Vikavolt comes out, my favorite bug type. And then the Sudowoodo comes out, which kind of stinks. I switch into Pykumuku, the absolute champion of this video. They get left on 47 HP after leftovers. They get dealt 47. They live on 1% and recover to get themselves up to 58%. Very lucky. Head Smash brings them down low, but at this point, they're just hurting themselves. And for some reason, they go for a Protect here. Recover. They go for Earthquake, which I guess makes sense because they didn't want to take the recoil. So knowing that they're just going to Earthquake again, I Toxic. So now, it's just kind of a head smash, stall them out, until they go down. I get left out on full HP. Bagheera comes out. You can't poison a steel type, but you can turn it into a water type. They keep going for Iron Defense. I go for Toxic. They have a Lumberry. I didn't notice this in the game, so I just went for Recover. They go for Dazzling Gleam. I go for Toxic. And then from here, it's a Toxic Stall. Energy Ball, that does a bit more damage. A crit would be probably not the best thing. Energy Ball keeps happening. I'll just get past this. Recover. And now, the Alakazam comes out. And I actually fought this guy once before, so I know he wanted to substitute here. And my Choice Scarf Vikavolt gets a crit on the Bug Buzz, which goes past substitute. I go into Ditto. I don't know, I just wanted to show off Ditto a little bit. High Jump Kick hits and deals 62%. Mine hits and deals 69. That's the funny number. That's hilarious. Wobbuffet comes out. They use Endeavor. I use Counter. And that is game 1. Now we have another not very usual Ubers team. I start Galvantula. They start Klefki. And I make a big mistake. They use Magic Coat. I use Sticky Web, and now they have Sticky Web. On my side, I say oops, but I get a paralysis on the Salamence. Then they go LOL oops, and then they get paralyzed, and I get up a free Sticky Webs. What's kind of bad here is that they get up a Tailwind. So then I get off a Thunder, and I don't know why my brain just did not recognize Tailwind. So then Blaze Kick brings me down to Sash. Gets the burn. I get off a pretty strong Thunder, leave him off on 5%. And for some reason, my teeny brain thought I would be faster. I wasn't. At this point, this game is looking pretty grim. Wobbuffet comes out, uses Counter. But then, they send out Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, it's gonna do something weird, so I go into Phalanx. Yeah, they set up Leech Seed. So then, I go for No Retreat. They go into Arcanine. They take a close combat pretty well. They use Play Rough, which brings you down to 11%. And then they go to Slow King, and the only bug move I put on this thing was a big mistake. I only put First Impression, which only works on the first turn, so this thing just walled me. And they were setting up nasty plots, and if you didn't know, Pykumuku has the ability of Unaware, which means all of your opponent's boosts don't matter to you. So when I go for Toxic, and they keep going for Nasty Plot, because they don't know about the power of the Pykumuku. And then he makes this weird face. So then we're just stalling them out here. To keep using Expanding Force, I use Recover. They go for Ice Beam, and then they go, what the heck is that? And I go, Pykumuku. So then I Soak, because you can't poison a Steel type. They missed the Power Whip, thankfully. I hit the Toxic. I said, he's like a little turd. Because he is, look at him. He's a little turd on a beach. And I go, he goes, he's impressive. And I go, true. Because he is. You seen anybody else stall like this? They go into Klefki. They go for Magic Coat. They reflect back the Soak. So my Water type became a Water type. So then I swap into Wobbuffet, thinking they're going to do something. And they do. They go for Thunder Wave. Then I go for Mirror Coat, because I'm pretty sure I thought they were going to use a special attack move. Then they just swap immediately into Ferrothorn. I'm paralyzed. They go for Power Whip. And I'm like, yes! Counter absolutely obliterates that thing. They go into Arcanine. And I'm like, oh! This is perfect. And he goes, boop. This is perfect. I can swap into Ditto. Transform into it. And then I'll Flare Blitz. He eats his Mago Berry, which is bad for me. Goes for a Reversal. And they have a berry on their Reversal Mon, which I guess kind of worked. Play Rough is resisted because fire resists fairy, I guess. Now the only thing left is a Klefki. Flare Blitz brings this thing down to Sash. Foul Play finishes off the Klefki. Now I know this is going to be a confusing ending because Pykumuku somehow has to turn this thing into a Water type and poison it. He goes Power Plays GG and I go GG. Now he's using Play Rough. I'm like, should I counter? He hits the Thunder Wave. Then I get paralyzed. But then I hit the Toxic. And there's that game. Another very classic Ubers team. But was Zamazenta instead of Zacian. I Toxic because I know they're going to Geomancy, and I have a Focus Sash, which means they can't do diddly crap. They use Thunder of all things. And I get my Sticky Webs. Moonblast finishes off him. But I go into Ditto because I just take all those boosts. I go for Moonblast. They go for Thunder. Then they go down to the Poison. But then the Necrozma Duskmane comes out, which stinks because the Moonblast doesn't kill. And Sunsteel Strike absolutely destroys Ditto. I go Vikavolt, and I go Thunderbolt. Then they just go Earthquake. Two people don't know how to read abilities. But then it stinks, because then they go Zygarde. And this is where Pykumuku really shines, because they're trying to buff their attack, their defense, their accuracy. They missed the Scale Shot. Then we get off the Toxic. They hit the Scale Shot, and they only do 20%. I use Recover. And then they keep going for Coil, not knowing about the epic ability of the Pykumuku. Like, do people, like, not see the abilities here? Like, I get they might not know what the ability is, but, like, what if they did? But yeah. And then they power construct. And they're like, yeah! And they're still doing the exact same amount. I recover and back to full HP, and I think they got mad. Because they forfeit. Alright, last game. Galvantula comes out against the Zekrom. He goes, nice team. And I go, thanks. And then I just thunder because I'm dumb and with a bug buzz. And he misses the thunder. And then bug buzz does a pretty good chunk of damage. Thunder hits this time. I send out my Vikavolt. Then he goes, guess what my Zek roll in my team is? I go Shedinja counter. Because I know some people really don't like Shedinja. Then Calyrex leaves me on super low, and I get a decent chunk of damage off. He says, nope, just to clear sticky webs using haze. And I'm like, I don't think it does that. And plus, you didn't do it. Alright, so then I get a special attack boost. Ditto hits this Yveltal with Astral Barrage, which unfortunately does a 2-hit KO. But Dark Pulse absolutely obliterates Ditto. He stood no chance. I swap in Wobbuffet and then to Pykumuku. He fails a Sucker Punch. I go oops because I didn't actually mean to switch to Wobbuffet. Poison the Yveltal. Dark Pulse luckily does not flinch, and I get to recover. Yveltal goes down, then Calyrex comes out. They use Trick, which is bad for me, because now I can only use Toxic. So then they switch into Xerneas. And I'm like, oh, I'll just stay in one turn to Toxic. And it was perfect, because now the Xerneas is here. And I know they're going to Geomancy. And here is another person who doesn't know about the power of the Pykumuku. See, they do nothing. See, I Toxic again. Now I'm like, I think I'm going to have to save Pykumuku for later. Because there's no way I win this battle without him. So then I go into Pykumuku. They go for Draining Kiss. I recover. And then the Xerneas goes down. Calyrex Shadow comes out. And I'm like, oh, I know I can wall this thing. They get a crit and leave me on 3%. And then I recover, but then the Energy Ball leaves me on 5%. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Astral Barrage leaves you on 10%. I really am getting close to death. Alright, yeah, and then we live all these hits. But then Dialga comes out. And I can't switch up my move, so I just go for Recover. I know he's going to keep going for, like, Aura Sphere and stuff. So I swap into Phalanx. And I made a grave mistake here. I went for no retreat against this Marshadow. But instead of the Marshadow doing Spectral Thief and just, like, killing everything, they go for Shadow Sneak. But then we missed the Zen Headbutt. But then the next one flinches. Shadow Sneak doesn't do much. Zen Headbutt kills. And then Close Combat finishes it off. He goes OMG. I think that he didn't actually think he'd lose to this team. Then he goes nice. And I go GG. And that's going to be the end of the video. Remember, like, subscribe, and max out your speedy.